The bustling noise of the mess hall abruptly ceased as Captain Brennan's voice cut through the air. "You believe you can just parade around here as if you own the place, soldier?" He pointed accusingly at a young woman by the coffee machine. Her digital camouflage uniform bore no indication of rank. She was noticeably smaller than most of the personnel, approximately 5'4", with dark hair neatly pulled back in military fashion. Several Marines at nearby tables paused their meals, turning to observe. Private First Class Chen quietly remarked to his colleague, "Here we go again. The captain's on another power trip." The woman at the coffee station remained completely motionless, her stance straight yet unforced, her hands clasped behind her back in a posture that hinted at military discipline, but revealed nothing further to a casual observer. Captain Brennan advanced, his boots resounding on the polished floor. "I asked you a question, soldier. When a superior officer addresses you, you are required to respond with the appropriate military courtesy. Do I need to reiterate basic protocol?" His voice boomed across the mess hall, clearly intended to humiliate her and assert his authority over the assembled personnel. The woman's reply was delivered softly, almost inaudibly to those nearby. "No, sir, that won't be necessary." Brennan's face instantly reddened at what he perceived as insufficient deference. "That is not how you address an officer. You will stand at attention when I am speaking to you." By now, the mess hall was utterly silent, 60 pairs of eyes fixed on the unfolding confrontation. Even the kitchen staff stopped their tasks, peering through the service windows to watch. The woman subtly straightened, but declined to adopt the rigid position of attention Brennan demanded. "Sir, I was merely getting coffee before my next appointment. I intended no disrespect." "Your next appointment?" Brennan let out a harsh laugh that echoed off the walls. "What kind of appointment could a soldier like you possibly have that supersedes showing proper respect to your superiors?" He closed the distance between them, violating her personal space in a manner that caused several onlookers to shift uncomfortably in their seats. Sergeant Tom Carter at Table 7 quietly leaned toward his companion. "This is not right, ma'am. The captain is way out of line here." Yet no one moved to intervene. Captain Brennan was known for his explosive temper and for holding career-ending grudges against anyone who crossed him. The woman remained utterly calm, her breathing steady despite the palpable tension. "Sir, I understand your concern about protocol. Perhaps we could discuss this privately rather than disrupting the mess hall." Unseen beneath her composed exterior, Major General Sarah Mitchell was mentally registering every detail of the conflict for the purposes of her inspection report. This suggestion only seemed to intensify Brennan's fury. "Don't you dare instruct me on how to handle military discipline. You clearly require a lesson in respect, and everyone here needs to witness what happens when proper authority is defied." His hand moved toward the woman's shoulder, seemingly to reinforce his point physically. What followed happened too fast for many witnesses to later describe the precise sequence of events. Captain Brennan's hand violently struck the woman across the face, the force snapping her head sideways. The sound of the impact resonated through the silent mess hall like a gunshot. The woman absorbed the blow without flinching backward, slowly raising her hand to touch the crimson mark forming on her cheek. When she looked back at Brennan, her expression was remarkably controlled, though a subtle change in her eyes caused several experienced personnel to instantly sit up straighter. Years of combat training had taught her to suppress natural reactions, to analyze threats with cold calculation rather than emotion. The mess hall fell into absolute stillness. The only sound was the distant hum of the ventilation and Captain Brennan's labored breathing as he stood over the person he had just assaulted. Staff Sergeant Carter could not shake the gravity of what he had just witnessed in the mess hall. His 23 years in the Corps had honed his ability to recognize when something was fundamentally wrong, and observing Captain Brennan strike that woman had triggered every warning signal in his seasoned mind. He found himself walking briskly toward the base communications center, his pace quickening with every step. The prior incident involving Private Martinez flashed through his memory. He should have reported Brennan then, should have stopped this pattern before it escalated to physical assault. Carter pushed open the door to the communications center, where Corporal Jackson was monitoring radio traffic. "Jackson, I need you to run a personnel check for me," quietly. The corporal looked up from his console, noting the staff sergeant's serious demeanor. Carter described the woman as accurately as he could recall, watching Jackson's frown deepen as he typed at his terminal. After several minutes of searching, Jackson looked up with an expression that confirmed Carter's mounting concerns. "Staff Sergeant, there's a security flag on this search. I can see someone matching that general description, but the details are restricted above my clearance level." His voice dropped to barely a whisper. "The file shows arrival yesterday, but everything else requires colonel-level access or higher. The authorization code traces back to the Pentagon level." Carter closed his eyes and rubbed his temples. In 23 years, he knew security flags usually meant one of two things. The person was either extremely important or very dangerous, sometimes both. Either way, Captain Brennan had likely just committed a career-ending mistake. "Log it," Carter decided. "Note that we were responding to a potential security concern involving unauthorized physical contact with a restricted visitor." Across the base, Colonel Richard Hayes stared intently at the classified file displayed on his computer screen, his face growing visibly paler with each line he read. The photograph perfectly matched the woman his security cameras had captured being struck by Captain Brennan in the mess hall. Major General Sarah Mitchell, United States Marine Corps, daughter of 4-star General James Mitchell, the current chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff. The file continued with a service record that read like a legend. Distinguished Service Cross, Silver Star, Purple Heart, with 3 oak leaf clusters, and combat tours in 3 separate theaters. Her hands, Hayes recalled from the video, had trembled slightly as she touched her cheek. Not from pain, but from the immense effort of maintaining her cover during the inspection. Hayes picked up his secure phone and dialed a number he had prayed he would never need to use. "This is Colonel Hayes at Camp Meridian. I need to speak with General Mitchell immediately regarding his daughter." The voice that answered was crisp and efficient, and within 30 seconds, a new voice came on the line, a voice that commanded instantaneous attention from anyone in uniform. "This is General Mitchell. Colonel, I understand there's been an incident involving my daughter." Hayes closed his eyes and delivered the report that would instantly end careers and potentially shutter his base. "Sir, approximately 1 hour ago, Captain Marcus Brennan of Bravo Company physically struck Major General Mitchell in our mess hall. The assault was witnessed by approximately 60 personnel and captured on security cameras." The resulting silence on the other end of the line lasted so long that Hayes genuinely feared the connection had been lost. When General Mitchell finally spoke, his voice was controlled, but carried an undertone that made Hayes intensely grateful they were communicating over the phone rather than face-to-face. "Preserve all evidence, Colonel. A team is already being assembled." Carter was summoned to Hayes's office within the hour. As he meticulously recounted the incident, from Brennan's initial confrontation to the moment he struck the woman, he watched the colonel's expression become increasingly grim. When Carter finished his account, Hayes nodded slowly. "Staff Sergeant, I need you to grasp that what you witnessed was an assault on a Major General. And not just any Major General, but Major General Sarah Mitchell, the daughter of the chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff." Carter felt his knees almost give out at this stunning revelation. "Sir, I knew something was wrong when I saw her reaction to being hit. She took it like someone who knew exactly what was going to happen next." He paused, adding quietly, "Sir, I should have reported him months ago when I saw him corner Private Martinez. If I had, maybe this wouldn't have happened." Hayes stood and walked to his window, looking out over the base that would likely be under federal investigation within hours. "Staff Sergeant, I am placing you in charge of securing all personnel who witnessed the incident. No one leaves the base until they have been interviewed by the investigators who are already en route." 3 helicopters appeared on the horizon within 4 hours. Lieutenant General David Brooks emerged first, followed by 2 other generals, their bearing making it unequivocally clear that Camp Meridian was now the focal point of a federal investigation. The investigation quickly revealed systemic failures extending beyond one captain's poor judgment. The team discovered that Hayes had only counseled Brennan informally after prior incidents, instead of pursuing formal disciplinary action. The colonel had believed Brennan's impressive combat record outweighed his disciplinary issues, a decision that now appeared catastrophically wrong. Lieutenant General Brooks delivered the relief order with military precision. "Colonel Hayes, you are hereby relieved of command of Camp Meridian, effective immediately, due to a loss of confidence in your ability to command. You will remain under investigation for potential federal charges related to negligent supervision." Hayes stood in his office for the last time, removing his personal items while military police supervised. 22 years of service ending in disgrace because he had failed to stop a dangerous pattern. Colonel Rebecca Walsh arrived by helicopter soon after, bringing a reputation for strict discipline. Federal marshals arrested Brennan shortly thereafter, handcuffing him and loading him into a transport vehicle, while base personnel watched in stunned silence. Brennan, meanwhile, had remained in his quarters writing his version of the events, completely unaware that his military career had just ended and his freedom was about to be taken away. 6 months later, the federal courthouse in downtown Washington was filled with military personnel as Captain Marcus Brennan received his sentence. The judge's words reverberated through the courtroom and across the entire military community. "Captain Brennan, you have been found guilty on all federal charges, including assault on a federal officer and deprivation of rights under color of authority. The evidence presented demonstrates a clear pattern of aggressive behavior that culminated in an unprovoked attack on a general officer conducting official duties. The sentence was severe but anticipated. 8 years in federal prison, followed by 3 years of supervised release. Brennan would also face a military court-martial upon finishing his federal sentence, ensuring his permanent dismissal from service and the loss of all benefits. Lieutenant General Sarah Mitchell, recently promoted for her professional conduct during the inspection and subsequent investigation, sat in the courtroom gallery. Her presence served as a potent symbol of the institutional authority that had been challenged. Her testimony during the trial had been devastatingly precise, detailing not just the assault, but the broader implications for command respect and military discipline. Colonel Hayes received 2 years in federal prison for criminal negligence and failing to maintain proper command oversight. His military pension was forfeited, and he was permanently barred from federal employment. At Camp Meridian, the transformation was complete and irreversible. Colonel Walsh immediately implemented reforms that became the standard across all military installations. Anonymous reporting systems were introduced, quickly identifying dozens of potential misconduct cases early on, preventing any further escalation to criminal behavior. Staff Sergeant Carter was promoted to gunnery sergeant and became the senior enlisted advisor focused on command climate issues. The mess hall where the assault took place was renovated and now featured a plaque commemorating the critical importance of military discipline and respect for authority. Years later, military academies taught this case as a definitive example of how a single lapse in judgment destroyed careers, but ultimately reformed an entire culture. Brennan's 8 years in federal prison served as a permanent reminder that military authority demands absolute respect, and that those who violate that principle will face the full weight of both military and civilian justice. If this gripping story moved you, demonstrating how one moment of poor judgment can destroy careers and profoundly transform entire institutions, please let us know what resonated most with you in the comments. Perhaps you have witnessed similar situations where someone's actions had consequences far beyond what they could have imagined. Or maybe you know someone in the military who has seen the importance of proper respect and discipline firsthand. Share your thoughts below. And if you want more gripping stories about accountability and justice, make sure to subscribe to She Wore the Stars for our weekly uploads.